All right, welcome into episode 5 of the Shenanigans Podcast. I am your host, Tommy Tsunami. Welcome back, welcome in if you're a new viewer. As you can see, I am riding solo tonight. Main man Murph could not make it, but we're still going to ride on through, give you them weekly episodes, because that's just what we do here. It's been a week for sure. What did we talk about last week? Oh, we are rising up the rankings in bowling. We'll get into that in a little bit here. Charlie Sheen documentary. If you haven't seen that, I highly recommend. We'll dive deep into that as well. We got Lesnar versus Cena this Saturday. I know we did speculate Lesnar being the final opponent for Cena, but it will not be. He did make a statement saying whoever that person is, he'll take it in full stride. He has not chosen his opponents in the past, and he will not do that going forward in his last 6 appearances, so we'll dive a little more into that mindset. Then we got our NFL picks of the week. Those aren't too exciting this week. Some easy matchups for us to pick from in terms of Sunday night, Thursday night, all that good stuff. Cowboys game, Panthers game, our wild card picks, but we'll get into that in a little later. But let's move on to the rest of the episode here. My week, as we don't have Chris here to banter off of, my week was kind of slow, but we had some interesting stuff happen at work. Lady wanted to bring her dog in, and it was not a trained dog to say the least. It started causing commotion and problems with the other dogs in the building who were actually service dogs. And in my mind, if you're getting a service dog riled up, get your pet out of here. It's not a service dog at this point. It's just a pet. Started problems with all the other dogs and then proceeded to walk up to one of the display tables of phones and decided to just relieve itself right there on the floor. Didn't even think twice. So the lady had asked for some paper towels. Alright, cool, you're gonna clean it up yourself, that's fine by me. But then goes on to then blame the other dogs for her dog peeing on the floor. Don't think that's how it works, lady. Your dog caused the problems. You can't say your dog was trying to mark its territory, because the store is not its territory. You need to train your dog and make sure they're trained before you go into a building of business or establishment of business. Because now we've got more problems to deal with, even though you did clean it up. But just be mindful, folks. If you have a service dog, make sure it actually is a service dog. Now I'm all for having dogs in my workplace, as it's not a sanitary issue where I work, but things like that, my job already has enough old people that pee and poop on the floor. We don't need the dogs doing it as well. And yes, you heard me right, there have been many of customers who have peed and pooped on our floor. There's been times we've had a trail going through the entire store to the bathroom because an older gentleman couldn't hold it in, and it was just dripping down his leg and made a trail all the way from the front of the store to the back of the store. I'm so glad it is not in my job description to clean that stuff, because I do not get paid enough to do it. But that's just my mindset. You gotta pay me some good money if I gotta clean up poop. That's all I'm gonna say. I'm not gonna do it for the little bit of money that I make, and I make a decent living. We had another night of bowling last week. That's always the big thing, the big night of my week. And look at us right here at the top. Place 1, Geez Louise, at 84 and 44. We started off this season rough. Needless to say, with my 105 average, we did not look good after week 1. We were all the way in last place. We are now going into week 4, or week 5, sorry. I think, yeah, this is going to be week 5. Right? 32. No, we're going into week 4. Week 4. So we went from last to first in a span of 2 weeks. No, 3 weeks. I was right, yeah. Because that's 120, 128. So we did 4 weeks, right? Let me do my math real quick. Yeah, 32 times 4 is 128. Yes, so we're going into week 5 next week. We just finished week 4. Actually, I should have... Let's do... Oh, let me move that up here. Let's cover that, because that's got people's names on it. We don't move that. Didn't mean to throw out there, but I did want to show the 80, 84, and 44. We are on top, ladies and gentlemen. Now we just need to stay there. We just need to continue to be consistent, bowling over our average. I had 2 good games last night. First game was a 170-ish, if I remember correctly, and then second game was about a 150. Third game I couldn't make a spare to save my life. I think I had a total of 4 spares, 3 of which were at the end of the last game. We're at frames 8, 9, and 10, which we needed because it was a tight matchup for total pins. If I remember, we won that by, the last game was 928. We won by 8 pins on that last game. 8 pins across 4 people. We only lost a total of 4 points last night, which is amazing. First game, we lost 1 matchup. Second game, we took everything, which was a clean sweep by a landslide. That was 10. We beat them by over 200 pins. First game, or no, that one was 100 pins. First game, we beat them by 170, if I'm doing my math right. Yeah, about 170 pins on the first game. And then we won the last one by 8. Came through in the clutch. First game, started off rough. Had a couple splits. Missed the pocket, hit the pocket light. That just happens. You're going to get some splits here and there. I took the 1 pin out of the 2. 8-1 open, 8-1 open. First 2 frames. Boom, hit a strike. Third frame. Now I got a little momentum going here. Spare, strike. Actually, hold on. I can actually pull it up. I forgot I have it saved on my bowling app here. Not a sponsor, but Lane Talk, free app, tracks all your bowling scores. Actually, some pretty cool features here. That's telling me to buy it. We don't want to buy it. Let's just go games, add games. It saves your bowling centers. So, boom, you pick our bowling center. It automatically imports the games. And all I gotta do is tap this little button here. Boop. And that adds all my games to this. So my recent average is a 142. Previous 5 games were a 139. So we're right around our average. 60% clean frames, which huge in my opinion. After this long break of bowling that I've had. 60% clean rate on my spares. I'm gonna take it. It needs to be higher, but it's a good starting place. 68.75 conversion rate on my spares. So clean is just spares and strikes, no opens. My carry is less than 50%. That was rough for us actually the whole night. It just felt like we couldn't get a consistent carry. And if you don't know what a carry is, it's when you hit the pocket, which is right between the 1 and 3 pin or the 1 and 2 pin, depending if you're righty or lefty. When you hit that pocket and you leave a single pin or you leave a split, that's what we mean by carry. Carry means you're gonna get a strike on those good shots. Pocket hits are about 40%. All of this, by the way, tracking for free here, right on this app. And that's going to give me just my recent game. That was just going to be last night. The yellow, if you unlock that, that gets you your previous stats leading up to where you're at today. See scorecard. All right. So, first game, 8-1, 8-1, strike, spare. So, we're 6 frames in and we're at a 93. Could be better if I didn't get those 2 splits. Figure that's probably about a 110, 115 there with those spares. Another open, threw a bad first ball. Got a 5, almost picked up the spare, missed a couple pins in the back. Then we go strike. And then this was the shot of the night for me that I wish I had recorded. We picked up the 5-10 split, guys. I cannot believe that's the first time I think I've ever picked up that spare. I have picked up the 4-7, I've picked up the 6-10, I picked up the other variations, but not that big gap there, and was much needed, very clutch in the 9th frame. And then we goes 4 spare 7 for a 152. Not too bad. I actually had my first and my second game mixed up. So second game comes along. So we win that. I win my matchup there. I think I won that by like 20 pins, maybe 10 pins. Game 2. Start out with another open. And I'm like, I'm starting to get frustrated. That's the worst mistake you can make in bowling is, as Ted Lasso would say, you gotta be a goldfish. You gotta be a goldfish. The shortest memory on the planet. You gotta forget those frames, even if they're really bad. You gotta just forget them. It's the only way you're gonna succeed in bowling, golf, any sort of sport like that. You gotta have the memory of a goldfish. Any sport, really. You make a mistake, you gotta forget about it. Forget about it, move forward. Now you do what needs to be done to move on and finish the game strong. So then I go 9 spare, strike. Which puts me at, or actually 9 spare, strike, 7 spare. So halfway through the game, we're at an 85. So we're 7 pins higher than we were the game before. Only 1 open, not 2 opens halfway through. So much better second game so far. Then we go 8 spare, 7 spare, strike. Puts us at a 141 in the 8th, or actually a 122 in the 7th on a strike. So going into the 9th frame, we got a mark. All I need to do is not open the rest of the game, and we probably break a 200. It would have been almost just under a 200. So going into the 9th frame, we pocket 9, no carry. It's what I expected, as that was the pattern for the night. Leave a 10 pin. I threw at least 5 practice shots in practice just at the 10 pin, hit every single one of them. So I'm going in there confident. Like, I didn't miss a single 10 pin during practice. We got this. I just throw it a little bit too far right. Falls in the gutter right before it hits the pin. We get the open frame going into the 10th. On that open, we're at a 150 in the 9th frame. First shot goes Brooklyn, which is the opposite side that you're going. So I'm a righty. Normally your pocket's on the right side. Your Brooklyn means you hit the left side of the head pin, and you're hitting between pins 1 and 2, just on the opposite side of where you threw the ball. Get the carry on that. Doesn't make sense. Everyone around us, Brooklyn was the way to go last night. That was just the carry, and it happens. I don't know why. That was just the pattern. It seemed like both of our teams on the lane had the same issue. Their anchor bowler the last game, and even the second game, I think he threw 4 in a row in the second game, or it might have been 5 frames without an open, either or. But the last game, he shot well over a 200. He was the only one that could seem to get carry last night. Which is, you know what? It's fine. That's what the handicap's for. We lost 4 total points. I'm good with that. I'll lose one matchup every game. If we could take 8 out of 10 points every single game, we'll be perfectly fine. And then game 3, which was the nightmare game. First shot of the game, I throw it in the gutter. Had been bowling good up until here. Dropped it. It just fell out of my hand and just went right into the gutter. Get a 7. Needless to say, 4 open frames in a row. Not looking good. We're 5 frames in at a 30 through 4 with a spare. So, and then 46 after the 6th frame. 6 missed the spare. Another open. Puts us at a 55, 6 frames in. I'm like, don't think we're catching up for this. Now I just need to maximize the rest of the game so we don't lose total pins. We got to at least take total pins in the 3rd game. Because we need every point we can get. So 7th frame, I get another split. It's a 5-10 again, but I miss it. Then we go spare in the 8th and 9th to kind of keep us close and in the game. Then Louise, who we've actually named the team off after. Our team name is Jeez Louise, if you did not catch that. Right up here, Jeez Louise. That was our random 4th person that we had join us when they changed it to 4-person teams. She fucking killed it last night. She had the high handicap game for the ladies at a 284. Our Linda, who's our first bowler, she had the 2nd highest handicap game at a 248. And Nikki, the other person on my team, had a 653 handicap series. Fantastic job by the ladies. I'm the anchor bowler, but they may have carried me, if I'm being honest, last night. Had a decent 1st and 2nd game, though, to where I won my matchup, so did my job. But needless to say, we're on a roll. We're having a blast. Just trying to get a little more consistent. We're on the last lanes this coming week. So I'm going to try to get some recording from League next week. Because we've been kind of in the middle of everybody, and it's just awkward putting a tripod and a camera on a lane when there's 8 people bowling, because then they all feel like they're being recorded, even though they're not. But being that we're on the last lane this week, I should have some space to at least get every shot on the right lane. So we at least have some more TikTok content, because I know I've been slacking on the bowling stuff, but it's just awkward with 8 people on a lane trying to record. The first week I did try to get a couple shots. They just weren't good based on camera location, and one person saw me put the tripod up and they got upset, so I'm like, alright, I'll just fucking put it away. It is what it is. We're going to try and do some more bowling stuff on Mondays when I'm not at league and it's just open bowling at the lane, so that way I can use all the gear, get some good shots in there, and get some more content posted there for you. But yeah, that's the bowling update of the week. Made it to 1st place, guys, and I am stoked. I also decided I was gonna watch the Charlie Sheen documentary the other day, and boy, oh boy, that was a ride. That man is a legend for all the wrong reasons. You learn a lot about his childhood, and the fact that he grew up with Sean Penn. Like, they grew up right in the same neighborhood. Grew up making like films together on their old school camcorders. Charlie Sheen, Emilio Estevez, Sean Penn, a couple other people, like obviously their other brothers were involved. And at a young age, they were really recording some dark shit because they just kept seeing their dad die in movies. So that's just what they were used to. Charlie went on set with Martin Sheen as a kid. I'm trying to remember. Apocalypse Now, that was the movie. It just seems like after that, we just constantly kept seeing our dad die, and that's the movies we made at that point, just because that's what we were used to seeing. Emilio Estevez sadly is not in it. There's clips of old footage of him, but he doesn't speak. He doesn't get interviewed. Martin Sheen isn't interviewed in it. I did really like John Cryer's perspective on things from the 2.5 Men era. Like, I grew up watching Spin City as well. But I think 2.5 Men was the first one that I really liked out of his sitcoms. The millions of them that I've seen now they're all fucking hilarious, but it's just Charlie Sheen being Charlie Sheen. And the fact that he became probably the biggest TV personality of a generation, just being himself is amazing. That's actually quite fucking impressive, considering he was a alcoholic. He was basically a man whore. He was buying fucking escorts for X, Y, and Z, and just couldn't stop doing drugs, drinking, and fucking. And he would have his periods of being clean. But it was a really interesting insight getting his co-hosts, or his not co-host, but his co-stars' point of view. Like, oh, we just really had to trust him. He wouldn't show up for 3 days, but then we film in front of the audience, and he would nail it every time. So you couldn't really, like, what are you gonna say? He was at that point winning, as he said years later. He could just get away with doing what he wanted because he did it so well, and it made the network execs money. The shows did well. It got the ratings. And they were talking about 2.5 Men after he took his break. And then the show took a break, and he came back. They just dropped buku bucks on him. I think they said he was making per episode, I think, 2 or 3 million. Which is outrageous with how many episodes each one of those seasons were, because those were easily 20 to 25 episodes a season at least. So that was definitely a pretty cool documentary in my opinion. It is a 2-parter. I'm trying not to get into too much here, but they do dive into his stand-up tour. They kind of dive into the whole Tiger's Blood, I'm winning, and his whole psychotic era for like the 2-3 years that was going on. Really cool documentary in my opinion. If you don't know who Charlie Sheen is, that's even more of a reason in my opinion to watch it. Because it's a guy that you will thoroughly enjoy his story. Spoiler alert, he is sober now, but I mean, I think that's been well known for the last 5+ years. So that's not necessarily really a spoiler. But I think that's why he did this documentary, was like, I'm gonna come and tell all, and he tells some shit that he had never told anyone before throughout the documentary. So really cool insight, and how this man did not die from the amount of drugs he did. Very impressive. It makes me start to think, oh, maybe he is from another fucking planet or something, because that man was doing some big ass fucking crack rocks. And they even had friends of his that were the ones that were doing it with him. What they ended up doing was they outsmarted him. They knew no matter what they did, he was going to keep smoking crack. He was going to keep doing the drugs. So his friends, family, and everybody got together with the guy who was providing it or just doing it with him on a regular basis, and they decided to make the crack worse, so like basically lower the quality of the crack, because they knew, well, we're not going to stop him from doing it, let's just make it so it's not worth it for him anymore. And it fucking worked. I could not believe it fucking worked. So they kind of dive into that kind of thought process as well, which is cool. That is on Netflix, so definitely go check that out. The next one I'm going to watch, which if you listen to podcasts, I think every podcast has talked about it. I think it's Unknown Caller. It is about a teenager getting cyberbullied. I've already got a spoiler for the end of it. I won't tell you guys. I'm going to watch it maybe this coming week. And we'll see if we can get it, watch the whole thing within a week here and get a nice review for you, spoiler free. And I'll even mention it to Murph as well, just so maybe he can give his insight on it as well for next week. And on to wrestling. We got a big pay-per-view this Saturday. WrestlePalooza. Probably the worst pay-per-view name WWE's ever come up with, if I'm being honest. WrestlePalooza. It's the first premium live event hosted by ESPN. Your boy does not want to pay ESPN for it. Not gonna lie. If you guys got access, you send me a DM and let me know. I will find a way to watch it either way. I do not want to pay for an ESPN subscription and like $40 on top of that just so I can watch John Cena versus Brock Lesnar. But that was a speculation we had a few weeks ago when we talked about it on episode 2, I believe it was. John Cena's final match, we were thinking it could have been Lesnar. Don't think it's gonna be. Obviously, they're wrestling now. Don't see them doing a second match, with Cena only having 6 more appearances, 2 of them being at Raw. You gotta figure he's got 3 other people to wrestle. I'm starting to think it's gonna be someone young that he's going to obviously get over, and I guess he already kind of passed the torch to Cody, but that's just Cody being the face of the company. I think it should be someone like a Braun Breaker, or I don't want to say Bronson Reed, because I think Braun Breaker's a way better wrestler than Bronson Reed. But it would be cool to see, or even a Dom Mysterio beating John Cena would be cool. I don't think he's ever fought Finn Balor, but Finn's not young. He doesn't really need that push. But he would be, I think, a fun match other than the last one. We'll obviously bring this up again in the coming weeks as we get closer and closer to Survivor Series in November and Crown Jewel in October. Kind of once we see who's wrestling there, we may be able to speculate a little more. It'll take some people out of the equation. And then we might have a better idea of who is going to be that last opponent. But I don't think anybody knows except for I think John Cena knows, only because it's wrestling. Let's be honest, especially the way they do it now, this is all planned years in advance. Like Paul Heyman has said multiple times, he is not doing a storyline if he doesn't know what's going to happen 2 to 3 years in the future. We shouldn't be booking for this year. We should be booking for 2-3 years down the road, at all times. And that's just how the business is now. You plan like, okay, we're going to give him a run for a bit. We can throw that here. We can fill in how we need to get there. You don't need every detail planned right away, but you got to have a roadmap of years down the road. So I think this has been planned for probably a year and a half to 2 years if I had to guess. And I think WWE has picked who it's going to be, and it's going to be who Triple H thinks should have that push as like you finished the greatest of all time. And I don't know who's worthy of that. At least not on the young guys. At first I thought, well, maybe Randy, but he's already had a match. I don't see them wrestling again. Maybe you could do Seth Rollins in like a heel fashion where him and the Vision just completely bury Cena and end his career. That's an option. Judgment Day could be an option in that sense of just a group ending his career. I don't think it goes that route though, because the way Cena's character is, I see him losing by possibly someone cheating, but not from a group. I think he loses to one person and one person only. Maybe they cheat, maybe they don't. We'll see from there. Next week we'll definitely be giving you at least my review of WrestlePalooza. Hopefully Chris will be watching it with me. But if not, we'll have you'll have my rundown and my reactions and my feelings on it if there are any. I'm not too thrilled about some of the cards, to be honest. Some of the matches, it's just... We got McIntyre versus Cody, Cena Lesnar. We have Io Sky versus... Oh, who is she fighting for? Shit, she's fighting for the women's world title, and I'm trying to remember. Shit, who is she fighting? Oh, we got Rollins and Becky versus Punk and AJ Lee. That I'm so excited for. We didn't talk about AJ Lee's return, but that was awesome last Friday. That was fucking great. So happy to see her back. Oh, it's Io Sky versus Stephanie Vakir. That, I think, is going to be a really good match. And then we got the Usos versus Bronson Reed and Braun Breaker. It is what it is. That's just the feud because Seth is fighting with CM Punk and Jay wants to be tied to them. I think Jay needs to go back to tag team for a little while now that Jim's back. But that's just me. I think they need to go back. I liked his run. I think he works better as a tag team person, not necessarily the world champion. Just because yes, he's over. I just don't think he has I hate to say the size, but he's not a big enough. Like, anyone in WWE could beat him, which makes it that much better that he won it. But that's where I see it making more sense with him not holding it for a long time. Cody, you had to have Cody hold it for at least a year because it took him 2 years to win it. Rollins, I don't think needed the title, but I think it's just they want to use this real life beef between him and Punk, and really kind of push that rivalry that's there in real life. But I feel like they've probably made up from it with how good their feud has been going, but they could just be professionals and still not talking to each other. You can still hate each other and still work together when it comes to wrestling. So I'm excited to see AJ Lee back in a ring. I personally think Punk and AJ Lee win it because there's no title on the line. I think Cena beats Lesnar. Cody retains. I hope Stephanie Vakir wins, but I could very easily see them putting the belt back on Io and going that route, because that's exactly what happened the last time. She lost it and then won it right back once Rhea had to go out, or whoever it was that got hurt. So I could very easily see Io winning it back, but I'd like to see Stephanie Vakir win it. Just because it'd be nice to see someone new with the title. And she's great. I've been watching her for years because she was in AEW for a little while before she went to WWE. Great wrestler. So that's gonna be a banger, as Sheamus would say. Banger after banger. New skate game dropped. I did not have that on the list here, but new skate game dropped yesterday, and mixed feelings on it. I think it plays amazing. Plays a million times smoother and better than Skate 3. But EA, you really gotta optimize your game launches. It was almost impossible to get into a lobby with people. That was the main issue. Lobbies are capped at 4, where Skate 3, they were capped at 6, I think, or 8. You don't have your normal, like, spot battle mode. No, it's in early access, so I'm being hopeful that these things will be added. But the game is an open world game, and that's why I don't think we're going to necessarily get those modes. And it feels like it's just challenge after challenge after challenge that you do as a team. I just want to, like, I just want to pick a spot and see who has the best trick or who has the best run. So EA, Skate, if you're listening, find some way to add that in if you don't have that plan now, because I want to have a group of 6 or 8 people. Hell, even more would be cool. And just pick a spot around town and skate it. Like, don't give it, like, you know what I mean? Or let us, like, pick a challenge and do that against each other instead of as a team. Like, that would be cool. Just, oh, like, here was the challenge for this run. Now you just do that run against each other and see who wins. That's the one thing. I know it's meant to be more of a social thing, and like, hey, I did this cool trick, and then you use the recording and you upload the recording. It's meant to be more realistic in the sense of the skating community and how it works. Like, yeah, I just found this cool spot, I did this sick trick, let me upload it to the internet, and people find me, and then I get internet famous, whatever. Kind of how it works with content creation if you're doing skateboarding. So I do kind of like that idea in an extent, but I do feel like we need our spot battles and our the one-up mode I loved in Skate 3. I wasn't a huge fan of Skate because it wasn't like Tony Hawk. It was very difficult to repeat the trick, so I do prefer the one-up because it's just like, hey, do a run, next person up has to beat it, or they get, you know what I mean, a letter. We got a kitty cat back there walking through the doorway. Don't know if you saw him, Mr. Anakin. But other than that, yeah, that game dropped. The new Rival season's out. So catch me over on the Twitch doing all that good stuff. You'll find that down in the description below. And then it's a little bit shorter of episode as it's just me. But now we got our NFL picks of the week. Now, being that it's just me here, Irish did give me every one of his predictions ahead of time. Normally, like we said last week, we're going to kind of stick to a few games. Usually around 6 to 8 a week. But since it's just me, we can kind of bing, bang, boom, fly through all the games. And we will kind of not really rapid fire. There's a few games that I do kind of want to dive into a little bit here. So it looks like we went straight down in order of time. So I didn't actually pick every game ahead of time, so these are going to be kind of on the whim and off the cuff real quick. I picked already 3, 6, 7 games, but I just think about it now, it's just me. All of the obvious ones, which were most of them ones that I already picked, we all had we both had the same. Well, that's a no-brainer. We're gonna start with Bills Dolphins Thursday Night Football. We both got the Bills. No-brainer on that one. We got the Patriots versus the Steelers. We both got Steelers. I do think the Patriots are going to start looking better and better, but I don't think Aaron Rodgers was happy about that loss this week, so I think he avenges it. Jets versus Bucks. Obvious one, we're both taking the Bucks. That's a no-brainer. Baker's on a roll. Egbuka has a good chance of Rookie of the Year, in my opinion. Mike Evans still kind of doing his thing. No touchdowns yet, but he's there. He's getting the attention so the other receivers can get open. The Bucks defense is playing well. As them being my local team, man, I can't help but root for them. But they play the Cowboys. Bet your ass I ain't rooting for them. After that, we got the Falcons and the Panthers. We both took the Falcons. These are out of order on my thing, so we're just going to keep going down. We got the Packers and the Browns. We're both taking the Packers. That's a no-brainer. Texans and Jags. I'm going to take the Texans on that one. Only because I don't think C.J. Stroud has a third bad game in a row. But, I mean, the Jags have not looked bad. I think C.J. Stroud has a little bounce back of a game. I think the Jaguars fall short in a close game. I think that's maybe 21-17. Maybe even 17-14. I think that's a one-possession game. Close game, but not a pretty close game. We'll dive into an ugly... Well, I guess you could kind of say that was ugly, close game for the Cowboys. We'll dive into that when we get to that game. We have the Bengals versus the Vikings. Oh, we got J.J. McCarthy up against the backup in Cincinnati. I got to take the Vikings. I can't with them missing Joe Burrow. I just can't. There's no way I can confidently say they're going to beat the Vikings with Justin Jefferson and hopefully Aaron Jones. He's doubtful, but I'm hoping he'll be good to go for the game. Rams, Eagles. I hate to say it. I got to take the Eagles on that one. The Rams do look good. That tush push, man. If you're gonna constantly let them beat off sides, and I've never really been that guy up until this week, but there was one image I saw. Literally the entire offensive line was offsides and in the neutral zone. You gotta be better than that, refs. Oh, it's too congested. Well, maybe that's a problem. If you can't accurately tell if there's a penalty, maybe it shouldn't be a legal formation. All I'm gonna say. I don't care either way. My opinion means nothing to the NFL, so that doesn't matter to me. Why argue it? I don't think it's fair that the offense can push a player forward, but the defense cannot. That's what I don't like. Both teams should be able to push their line forward, or no one can push their line forward. We got the Colts and the Titans. Gotta take the Colts, man. I don't know. I don't have enough faith in Tennessee right now. I do think that they're going to be a good young team. Ridley's just not what he used to be. I think you got Daniel Jones with the momentum. You gotta trust him and Jonathan Taylor to just not make mistakes. Raiders and Commanders. I'm taking the Raiders. And Chris is taking the Commanders. Commanders did not look very good last week, and I do think it's going to be a sophomore slump for Jaden Daniels. With that being said, The Raiders just need to be able to block for Geno Smith, and it should be a win for them. Now, it's their offensive line. It's not great. They looked pretty bad on Monday, but they played a good Chargers team. So I do partially say it was due to the team that they played. I don't think it was necessarily they're a bad offensive line. They played bad, but they also played a really good team. After that, we've got Chargers and Broncos. Oh, that's going to be a close one. I got to take the Chargers, though. I got to take the Chargers. Only because they are looking so good this year. They really are. Their offense is running on all cylinders. Their defense is holding people down. They're not letting up a lot of points. And if you don't give up a lot of points, you're always in the game. And then we got the Saints and Seahawks. I think that's a no-brainer. Seahawks. Oh, well, actually, you know what? I mean, they're both not great teams, but yeah. The Seahawks just have too many weapons. They have too many weapons. Then we got Cowboys and Bears, another no-brainer. Although they do tend to play down or up to who they're playing, as they did against the Giants this week. That was, I was not watching it live. I had the Gamecast on my phone. I was checking periodically. The Giants were up for most of the game. Malik Neighbors had a fucking game. And so did Wan'Dale Robinson. Our secondary looked like shit. There's players, no ifs, ands, or buts about it. Our secondary played like shit. Dak finally proved, in my opinion, that he is an elite quarterback. Every time they scored, he went right back up that field in the fourth quarter and scored. They scored 3, I think the two teams combined, if I remember correctly, scored between the fourth quarter and overtime. I think it was 6 touchdowns and 3 field goals total. Because going into the fourth quarter, I think it was only 17-10. And the game ended 37-40. Back and forth. The last 2 minutes, kind of watching the game cast on my phone at work. It's slow because it's a Sunday. Still early in the football season, so people are home watching football. Not quite Christmas time, so they're not shopping a ton like they will be in a couple months. And Dallas takes the lead. Then the Giants score a deep touchdown. Then the Cowboys score. Then the Giants score another touchdown. Cowboys ended up scoring with, I believe it was 45 seconds left on the clock in the fourth quarter. They scored the touchdown. Awesome. Pickens gets the touchdown. We take a 4-point lead. Kick the ball to the Giants with about 45 seconds. Perfect. All we got to do, not let anybody behind us. Don't let anyone behind you. Keep them in front of you. That's all you had to do. It was a 4th down with about 30 seconds left. Somehow, our secondary lets Malik Neighbors pass them. They score a touchdown, and there's like 25 seconds left in the game. And I'm at work. I'm like, oh my goodness. Looked at my boss. I said, I may need to leave for mental health right now. I think I might need to leave because I want to go play in traffic. This team, this is the time of year, man. I let a football team decide my mood for the next fucking 6 months. But needless to say, Dak had 25 seconds, ran up, quick pass right up the middle, timeout to the 50-yard line. Another scramble for Dak. Actually, no. He got to the 50-yard line, if I remember correctly. It was a 64-yard field goal. So either way, they get to the 50. They run it a couple times because they had all their timeouts. 64-yard field goal for Brandon Aubrey. I said after his first season I will always draft this guy. He's very accurate. We were the first team to draft a soccer player for a kicker spot in the NFL, apparently, ever, from what I heard a year or so ago. This man has a boot on him. 64-yard field goal right through the uprights to send it into overtime. Man is the MVP in my opinion. I don't care who the quarterback is, who the coach is, who scored the touchdowns. That man is the MVP. Because not only did he make that 64-yard field goal, they go then back and forth in an ugly overtime. No one scores. Cowboys get the ball right at the end of the overtime, getting field goal range with a few seconds left. I think it was a 46-yard field goal to win the game. Right through the uprights. Brandon Aubrey, walk-off win for us in overtime. You love to see it. But we got to stop giving up so many points, guys. You gotta. Can't be letting people behind you. Especially not in the fourth quarter when there's less than a minute left. You got to keep everybody in front of you. Even I know that, and I've never even played football. We got Cardinals and 49ers. 49ers, both of us are taking them. I don't think the Cardinals have a season. They have a poor season ahead of them, I think. And speaking on the Cardinals, I don't know if you haven't seen it. I don't think either Kyler Murray is the biggest troll ever, or he just was oblivious to what he did. But this man did a whole photo shoot apparently with his pit bull wearing a Michael Vick jersey. So one of these things is not like the other here. So yeah, needless to say, that was my laugh for today scrolling through social media. Kyler Murray in a Vick jersey with a pit bull. What a combo. We got the obvious Chiefs versus Giants. No way the Chiefs go 0-3 to the Giants, right? There's no way. There's no way we go that route. Did I accidentally do double on these? I did. So that one. Oh, and then the Lions and Ravens. Do we both take the Ravens? Yes. But I'm actually going to change that. I'm going to take the Lions on that one. That way, because I need to take some risky bets here. I need to take some risky picks to catch up, because I think he's up 5 points on me. 3 points. We got to catch up. A lot of games that I felt like we were gonna obviously pick the same teams for. So I'm gonna take a little risky of a gamble on that, and maybe make up some points this week. Because as of right now, the hair is on the line. My lovely locks here are on the line for the end of the season with the NFL picks. Hopefully we don't lose it. Again, we've been asking around. We've got some ideas. Maybe we'll post the poll in the comments in a couple weeks here. Comment down below what you think would be good punishments for Chris or myself or both of us. Right now, the best one has been my hair. And then we got a suggestion for Chris to wax his eyebrows. That's on him if he feels like that's something he's willing to do. But other than that, I think we're going to call it an episode here, guys. Thank you for joining me, Tommy Tsunami, on the Shenanigans Podcast. We'll be back next week with Murph, with myself. More bowling updates, more NFL picks, and just more shenanigans for you. All your links will be down in the description below. If you're not subscribed, hit that subscribe button, click that bell, get the notifications, comment, give us some interaction here, help us get to more faces and more ears, and we'll catch you guys next time. Peace.